Welcome in guys, Matt from Total Drummer. Very quick video today. We're going to look at how to set up a hi-hat and the hi-hat stand. If you've got a new drum kit or you've inherited some new gear and you've got a hi-hat and you're not sure how to put it together, we're going to do this in just a few minutes. Okay, so if you've inherited a hi-hat, it might have come in one piece. The hi-hat cymbals themselves will probably be off, so we'll cover that. But let's just assume the whole thing is completely stripped down and you've got to start from scratch. So in which case, you may just have this bass unit. And if it's been really packed away to put away in cases for transit to gigs and whatnot, this is how it will probably be. Now this is really in one piece, but you'll see here this foot pedal might need to be attached. In many cases, it'll just be these two metal rods that you can just squeeze together. And we squeeze those together and just slot them inside the holes of the stand itself. Sometimes it'll be a more solid plate under there, but this is a very common design. Also, we're going to have the legs here, which simply need to be undone at the top and stretched out so they're fully open. The bass then pushed down so it's flat on the floor, so the pedal sits on the floor, and then you just do that back up so it's nice and tight. So then we've got that, and as you look down there, you'll see there's a hole for a big tube, and inside it is a smaller tube. Make note of that, we'll come back to it in a minute. So, we've got to that stage. What we'll need to do next is put this bigger tube down inside that bass tube. You're going to notice that you may well have a memory lock. Do not worry about this. This is just, if you're going on a tour and you've got lots of gigs night after night, you want to set your kit up and just keep it in the same place. So what you do is, we're going to put this tube, as I just did there, slot it straight down inside, and just lightly do it up. We're not going to do it too much now because we might want to adjust it. So at that point, you then would tighten your memory lock in position. So mine's already where I want it, okay? So we would move it up or down, get it in the right place, and then after that gig, you slide this out, or if you're lucky, your roadie slides it out. The next night you come to your gig, you just put it back in, and it's exactly at the right height again. So that's all the memory locks are for, and you'll find them in other parts of your drum kit as well. So that helps you to set it up nice and quick. Okay, so we've got that in place, and you'll have this plastic bit on the top here. Now don't worry too much about this screw here. You might want to just bring that down so it's flat in a neutral position. When you push that up, it will push under your hi-hat and can change the angle. So if you're on an uneven floor or you just want a slightly different angle there, that can help manipulate the angle. What we're going to do now is just put it in a neutral position so it's not really going to take any action. And you should have a metal plate like this, a small disc. That goes on the top here. That's going to give us a nice stable bass. Our hi-hat will sit on there, but we don't want our nice expensive metal cymbals going onto metal. So always you need a felt. So we've got a black sort of disc of felt here. That sits on top of the metal disc, and that's going to protect our cymbals so there's no metal on metal contact. So from this point, you're going to put your hi-hats on. There are two hi-hats, and you'll notice, particularly here, if they're not brand new, you'll notice that the bottom one, which never gets hit, is going to look like new. The top one's going to look less new. This is actually a bit depressing to see how nice that bottom one is. My top one used to look like that. So these are Zildjian Custom K Custom Dark 13-inch hi-hats. If it's not in a different condition, you'll also notice that they quite often say hi-hat bottom and hi-hat top. That helps. And if it doesn't say that, then you can also notice, look at that, bit of juggling. You can also notice the bottom one's a bit heavier. So just feel them. You'll notice the bottom one's heavier, and that's your other clue. So there's three ways to tell there. So once you've decided which is the bottom one, that hole goes over the black plastic metal tube and just sits on the felt nice and solid. So there we have our bottom hi-hat in place. So now we need this thin metal rod. So do you remember inside that bass tube, there was a smaller tube inside it? That's threaded and this goes into it. So we're going to just slide this thin rod down inside the plastic tube there, and you're gonna fill around a bit till you find that. And eventually, well, that took a few goes, but I'm in there now. You'll feel it take, and then you just screw it up. It'll just go into, screw into that threaded tube below. And you just do that as tightly as you can. Okay, so we're nearly there. We've just got to add the top hi-hat. To do that, we need your clutch, which is this bit. And this will go this way up. We're going to slide it onto the tube in a moment. What I've done is I've I mean, this comes in a few parts. So you've got the main part there with the big threaded metal tube. Onto that should be a metal disc again, which is threaded, so that just screws on. So that's gonna be the top part of this. On top of that, we put a felt, because our hi-hat's next going to go on there. So remember, we don't want metal on metal, it will wreck our cymbals. So you've got a felt in there. Once we got to this stage, I'm holding my clutch upside down. We're then going to put the top hi-hat on there, and we'll just have that threaded tube sticking up through the hi-hat now. Then we're going to put another felt, so again, no metal on metal, so there's a felt either side of the cymbal. And then finally, you should have a thicker metal screw part which screws on the bottom, and that keeps your top hi-hat firmly locked in place on the clutch, so it won't be moving anywhere. Once that's in place, your top hi-hat's now secured on the clutch, and you're just going to put it down onto the metal rod and it sits on there. The final stage is we need to position the gap. So there's two ways of doing this. So one way is, this is undone already, you've just put it on, so you're going to just lift it to the height you want it and then tighten it in place. And that will stay there, and then when I push the pedal down, it goes down. When I release it, it comes back up. The other way you might want to do this is to undo that, let it drop, and then put your foot on the pedal and push down. That's going to bring this metal rod down, and you hold it where you want it, just a centimetre or two down. Do the hi-hat clutch up, and when we release our foot, it brings the hi-hat up. Either method's great. As to how high or how big that gap should be, it's personal choice. I see drummers, some really wide gaps, some narrow. I play around with it a bit. I might have it for, say like I'm doing a funky gig and I just want some nice, clean, tight hi-hats. I might have it smaller. I might be doing a big rock gig where I'm sloshing it open. I might have it bigger. So there's no wrong or right, but experiment. You can adjust it. You can adjust it between songs if you need to in a show. It takes a second, you know. So do not worry. Experiment. Find the right sound. But that is how to set up your hi-hat and the hi-hat stand. Alright guys, if you enjoyed that, if you found it useful, hit subscribe, but also check out some more videos. There's some links below this. We've got loads just to help you set up the drum kit, how to set up a snare drum, how to attach a bass pedal, how to tune your entire drum kit. There's also, if you're a beginner drummer, there's a free beginner's course. Again, link under this video. You can start this course completely free. Start drumming for free today from your own home. There's just like really intensive. Well, I say intensive, it's not intensive, but it's really comprehensive. It covers everything you need to know as a beginner drummer. Get going for free. Hope you enjoyed this. Hit the links. I'll see you in the next lesson.